We've got to watch the time as well, because if we go past midday with bales outside, that will result in loss of wrong. That one. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately I can't work at least I haven't got the grab worked. On the side panel, so I have to use the mouse. Okay, we need to move fast. So we've currently got 12,000 litres of hay, and if we go past midday, we will have less. Oh, don't get stuck on stuff now. There we go. Water's opening. Gates opening. Really? In the tractor. There we go. Stop. And retract the spikes. And drop the last one. Thank you. Okay, that's the sheep fed. Well done. Sheep are almost mostly fed. So if I grab the fent that has the shovel on the front, we'll be able to shovel those up. Shovel up the grass. This is the Lindner from the Alpine pack rather than the base game 90. I swapped it out for the heavier model just because we are hauling quite a lot of hay at the moment. Jump in, engine off, jump out, and we can get in the fent. I haven't got the weight on the back of the fend, but that's not a big deal. This is a heavy tractor, but it's old, so it doesn't have a lot of horsepower. And it does have a front loader, which is nice. The only one of the smaller tractors I don't have on the farm that I don't have a front loader on is the Valtra. That's because it's really used for just spraying and the arms that get in the way. How much grass do we have here? Getting messy. This thing has a really bad turn circle. I mean, it's not something I bought it for, so it's not a big deal. But sometimes the arm and bucket do get in the way. So, sheep fed. Yay, sheep. Have more babies, okay? focus on this. Alrighty. I've got camera collisions off, which is a mod, but that does mean you end up looking at walls all the time. But it means that the camera's not bouncing around when you're driving close to trees or buildings. It's a little bit close on the left there. But otherwise what you end up with is it's doing this as you're driving past the posts, and that gets quite annoying at times. So weather. Oh, let's go and check the cow pasture for moisture. I don't know. It's probably inadvisable. I think I'd like to get the planting started anyway. And this is, this is actually a time where it's not too big a deal. Only planting half the field, because the seeds are dormant during the winter months. We're not going to get any growth until spring, so planting half the field today and half the field tomorrow, we still won't see half the field's ready to harvest and the rest isn't later in the year. So we will get this done, or at least started. And since we're using seeds and they are consumable, I think we're going to probably use GPS. Turn this on a 90-degree heading. That's 97. That's pretty much 90. Let's get the wheels straight and unfold that. GPS is on. So, auto width 39.31 feet. Take your word for it. Should be no offset. I got show lines is on. Okay. Don't see any lines, dude. Oh, let's press the right buttons. There we go. So I want to A-B straight, line method A and B, set A, lower the seeder, turn it on, and very carefully drive 90 degrees to the map line, to the compass. .90.4, but that's fairly close. Turn that back on, set B. I didn't hear a beep. Well, it's on. So back to there, turn the offset off. The offset isn't turning off. Okay, maybe I was going the wrong way. And that's kind of close enough. That's better. Okay, so the offset is the offset. Enable guidance steering. I cannot remember. What the button to tell me tone is, and I can't hear the noise of it. So anyway, we're good. Let's drive this. So, planting barley in the rain. I don't know if this does an auto turn at the end of the rows or not. I haven't figured that out yet. And we want to get the right hand edge within about 12 metres of the edge of the field so that when we do the headland, that's going to be it is what it is. Raise that. Turn around. No, I don't want the right spaces. I want to know what the keyboard map is. Guidance steering. Bail position X, or whatever that means. Guidance steering. Left Alt and X, okay. Looks like it's engaged. Yeah. That was not a good turn on there. Trail equipment, no. I am not so hot trying to reverse this. Obviously I'm trying to rely on the GPS guidance steering. Keep the tractor straight, but it doesn't keep the implement straight as well. Alright, should be good, and we should get a nice straight row. So I'll probably end up doing alternate rows from this point on because it's going to get the equipment straighter, or I can manipulate the turn so the equipment is more accurately behind me, and because we're using guidance steering, that does mean that as we run the field, the gaps between the rows will be exactly the same width as the width of the planter. I may run a right-hand turn here so that we can do that northern corner. Raise that. We might be lucky enough with the placement on this that we get all of this northern edge up to where field 25 ends, or the southernmost tip of field 25 is. Then we can plant the rest of the field as we go. Still a nice winter's day on Oakfield. Yeah, see this? Screwed that up. Let's try and keep the cedar away from the edge of the or the hedge. Now I'm going to have to come in from the other direction to get a favourable turn into the row. Drive past and hopefully, yeah, GPS picks that up nicely. We'll drop the head and start planting the row. So yeah, we've got that side to do, that side to do. I'm hoping to reach that corner. And then we can just do full lengths of the field, alternating rows, and then fill in the gaps as we come back. And then the last thing we'll do is run around the headland, maybe once or twice, to get full coverage on the field. And this seeder and tractor is probably smart enough that the planter can be programmed which heads to plant and where and how. Although I think as far as farm singing is concerned, if you're running a seed drill, it will use up seed everywhere that it detects as a field, whether there's something planted there or not. So you do get seed wastage on this planter, or on a seed drill. You don't get seed wastage on our other planter, which will only put seed down where there isn't seed already or there isn't crop already, which is why you have to cultivate a field to use the planter. Looks like I'll do a 270-degree turn here in order to get the cedar more correctly in line for the row. Guidance steering. I can just hear the clink of the GPS engaging. Is barely annoying. Yeah, it's barely registering for me. Turn that up a bit. Yay! I can now hear the rain. But yeah, I don't do a lot of GPS guidance steering work. Pretty much the one I rely most on is once a crop is well growing and you can't see the ground, I'll probably spray with GPS. That's why I put GPS on the Valtra, because there's just no way to see where you've been already. For seeding, that's not a problem. For cultivating, you're not using a consumable, so if you cultivate over a piece you've already cultivated, it's not really as big of a deal. But here we're using seed, and it would be nice to avoid wasting it by seeding the same point twice. Wow, that's really almost not going to fit. And you can break or disengage the GPS by turning early. So So again, it looks like there's actually 2 rows there. 3. Okay, let's pull it up to the edge and turn it. Engage the guidance steering and engage the seat head. There we go. So again, very easy job. This seeder actually has the row markers, which I believe is that button there. You put that down, that will leave a mark in the dirt, and you line up the centre of the tractor on that, and you'll get a fairly accurate position of the seeder on each successive row. The problem with those, they're not, with a 3 metre seeder, there are some 3 metre seeders with those on, and it's very difficult to use them because the row markers, there's an inherent inaccuracy. So when you're working over 3 metres, that can be a problem. When you're working over 12 metres, you really don't get so much of a noticeable overlap. You know, if I'm half a metre off on my mark, there's still 11 metres of efficient planting. But if I'm half a metre off on a 3 metre planter, then that's 2. And I do find it's probably easier to plant by eye, dead reckoning with a smaller seeder. And you're not. There were rumours in Farm Sim 17 that you did use more seed per acre from a small seeder than you did for a large, so potentially your yield could be bigger with smaller seeders. But then you're using the larger seeders on big fields, so why would you wouldn't notice the gain. Don't know if that holds true with 17. All I've done so far on Farm Sim Science is take one field and plant every single crop in it and see what the seed usage was. Lift that up, and it looks like we're going to run this edge from this side. So that's the first row. There's the second. Try past it a bit, and then engage steering, back online, and engage the header. Now technically, because I'm driving away from the row and then coming back again, the need for me to do alternate rows isn't quite as significant as if I was doing a straight U-turn at the edge. But we don't have the acres of space around the fields that you would see in something like a larger American or Australian farm. So most of our manoeuvring is done on the field. And there's a good potential that what we're doing here is a little bit overkill with the size of equipment that we're running. Gets it done quick, so we'll do it that way. Oh, we're already 70, that's 27% of our seed gone. this end of the field I'm kind of limited on the turn area, so we will do what we can. I think I should take that corner slower so the seed head comes down a little bit sooner. I suppose I usually look at the number being the middle of the field, but I think in this case it's not even close. So I've got no idea. We could have a clue. Let's have a clue. Keep going. If we go to here, we go to there, and this area is 24 acres. And my keyboard. Okay. That's 24 acres. Oh, it's the same screen. Seeding. We've done 9. So we still have quite a ways to go. Assuming all the numbers add up. I don't know. I've never tried it this way. So I am thinking maybe get a weeder so that we can catch weeds at that stage of growth, at least early on. Because of our limitations on using herbicide and fertilizer concurrently per growth stage, we could deal with the weeds a lot quicker, and it would mean that our grass cuts are cleaner. Because the problem I've got is the weeds grow, and I've just done a layer of fertilization. I can't spread herbicide. And then we cut the grass, we kill the weed. The weeds are cut at the same time. It reduces our yield. But then we're hard pushed to get fertilizer back on the field ready for the next cut before the grass is fully grown again. And there's no time to put the herbicide down as well. So potentially getting a weeder means we can rip up those weeds, but it might be a long ongoing job. Because weeders don't get rid of the weeds, they just pull up what's there and stop that patch. Whereas herbicide can be put on the entire field, and that prevents weeds for until the end of the next harvest.